Hello everyone, my name is John Michael Bushman and welcome back to Match the Duel. We're going to be rocking with my favorite deck at the moment and will probably be for the foreseeable future with the new card, Lacrima the Crimson Tears. I teased this in the previous video and now we're going to play it in my meta deck of choice, Yubel Fiendsmith. I did make a few changes since the last time I played this deck. I'm going to try one for one in this deck. A lot of builds and a lot of other players seem to like this card in the deck. It's basically the third copy of Fiendsmith's Tract. And it's also a version of Fiendsmith's Tract that doesn't fold to just one Ash Blossom. You still get some sort of graveyard setup because sending a monster from hand is a cost, so that cannot be negated. Unlike a Fiendsmith's Tract, which, you know, just any piece of interaction will completely stop this thing. And then, well, in terms of the searching aspect. Otherwise, I kept some of the ratios pretty normal here. I added Nibiru in place of Triple Tactics Talent because a lot of combo decks are running around right now, especially Blue Eyes. They die to this rock like pretty easily. People have not tried Thea yet. There have been talks that this card will eventually get good. This is apparently the creature inside Nibiru, that's why it has nearly the same effect, but in the OCG at least, from the players that I have talked to, this card is not that good, unfortunately. Or at the very least, its time is not here yet. It's going to need to find a spot or a meta where it's actually really good. But for now, you're gonna keep it in your binder nice and warm until eventually you do need something like this. Otherwise, it's pretty normal ratios here for the Yubel stuff, although I finally added Necroquip Princess to this deck in place of, yes, I'm replacing Appaloosa. I'm replacing Apollo USA, one of the strongest Link 4 monsters in this game, in favor of a Ghost Girl. I will not be answering any further questions other than let's get into these duels. The only thing that's keeping Yubel Fiendsmith in check is its absolute brickiness. And hands like this, I wouldn't normally like it because, well, actually, this is a fine hand, all things considered. We can start by baiting on Ash Blossom with opening of the Spirit Gates. Let's see if this elicits a reaction out of my opponent. Fortunately, or rather unfortunately, it does not. We don't have a defense against Drone Lockbird, but that card has been put into the sidelines yet again because I believe it's the meta has pretty much normalized at this point. So we're not going to be facing too many problems, at least not at the moment. But we're gonna put in our Ash Blossom Insurance and or Maxi. We could also have that. We're gonna put Phantom here, limited to 2, still pretty goddamn good in spite of everything. And now, wait, I can only extra normal Dark Fiends? Question mark? Hold on. Add a Uriah, normal summon a Fiend with 0 attack. Great. I guess we're using you for this, Yubel, unfortunately. I did not know that was that line of mistake. I thought it was just a normal, extra normal. I guess we're gonna be wasting that one. Okay then. I think my opponent has that is not opponent. I guess my opponent was holding back because I had that, but okay, fine. You're pushing the issue. Might as well use it. There you go. You have Crossout Designator here. I'm gonna banish one of the Maxis. Yeah. Also, there will actually be a banlist update around June 1, which is going to be interesting. It limits a lot of decks, and oh boy, we're gonna get to it when we can get to it. But here we go. We're gonna need that, so we're just gonna improvise because I screwed it up like immensely. Probably should have normal summoned that instead, and let's just we're just gonna do our thing here. There we go. I think I'd rather special Lacrima from hand, and then we just go from there. And it also sets up our graveyard shenanigans for later, but we will be working on really thin margins here, so no, we don't need to use that one yet, but we will go with sequence. There we go. Again, I screwed the pooch really horribly with this combo, but I think we can still get there somehow, I hope. So we're gonna use Aerial Eater here, then we're gonna... Who do we return? This will actually matter. I guess we return Lacrima and Close Goddess, because we will need at least one other Light Fiend for the purposes of... for the purposes of Agnus. We're gonna send Samsara these nuts, and then... Oh god, now I can't revive it. Simply because I have no discard fodder. Great. So, we just link Shokan this. There we go, we're gonna put it here, and yeah, I screwed the pooch here royally, like super royally. Because this is where my combo stops, and yeah. Definitely not my best showing, but I think... Actually, no, we can't... No, we literally will not be able to do anything. Alright. So, the first move that I did there was definitely a mistake. I did not realize that it would hamstring me that hard. Okay. So, that's something to bring to the future. And my opponent will very likely win because they are fucking Cyber Dragon. They will OTK me to the sun, and Zane Truesdale Truthers will be rejoicing when this duel finishes. But let's see actually how far my opponent goes, but I presume that they'll be going the distance here simply because I do not have any defenses at all. My one piece of defense, well, I do have another piece of defense, but I don't know if that'll be enough, especially against Cyber Frickin' Dragon. We're gonna find out, I guess. So, I think it would have been better if, well, no, that's not the target, unfortunately. We at least have this. It's only a send, but again, don't know how we're gonna be able to do what we need to do here. At least we have a Light Fiend to feed. Well, two of them actually, to feed to Desiree once we send him to the graveyard. But again, no idea how far we can get here. That was not a normal summon, unfortunately. So we can let that be. I think we're gonna wait for something else. Maybe Ziger, Ziger, or any of the other link climbing tools that Cyber Dragon tends to have these days. So we're gonna find out soon enough. If they even do that. Cyber Repair Plant. I have seen more Cyber Dragon decks use this, at least on the wild. And by that I mean in the rank ladder of Master Duel. And when I say wild, I think more of Hearthstone these days. But just, you know, randomly on the rank ladder, I see more and more of Cyber Repair Plant. And, well, you actually did have my job for me, opponent. Thank you very much, actually. Because now Unchained Soul is sort of live, because if Opening of the Spirit Gates gets destroyed, then that means it's going to trigger Yama in the graveyard, and then I can summon probably one of my monsters in the yard in order to do what needs to be done here. No, we will not do that yet. Again, we're gonna wait for their Link monster because I think that's exactly what they're going for. And then once they do that, we'll send it to the graveyard using Desiree's effect, and then we're gonna go from there. But I believe they're thinking if they should even do that. They could just actually push damage here. Alright, they're going for Seeger. Now we're going to trigger its effect. There we go. We're going to use Fiendsmith in Paradise. Again, I cannot believe I screwed the combo up so badly that I have to take a line like... I literally have one piece of interaction, and I have nothing else. But I don't know if this will even be enough. So that's sent to the graveyard. Now he only has a 2100 dragon. He has triple tactics thrust. He's gonna thrust it into me, and I will not forget it. Alright, cool. I could have had a better sentence for that, but it's a spur of the moment thing. So we're gonna see what he gets, and I have no idea how much longer I have to live here. We're just gonna find out, and I'll see you at that point. Okay, so a little update. I drew Agnus Dei for turn, and that pretty much unlocked my whole hand. I'm pretty sure my opponent could die here, but they do have two unknowns that I have to contend with. So we're gonna find out how far we can get here. Although at least we can discard the Sharvara here to get the trap card out of rotation. So we can have that. But at least we can now summon the Samsara these nuts. And then we do our thing from here. We can use Aerial Ether, but we're gonna go with Engraver first. We're gonna return Sequence back into the deck, because we're gonna need that later. So now we do this. And there's Agnus Dei, that handsome bastard. There we go. Then we're gonna do this. We're gonna use Sequence. Actually, no. We're gonna go into the Coffin first. We're gonna go into Requiem. And then we go into Sequence, so that we have sufficient material on board to hopefully get Desiree. I think we'll have enough for that. I don't know, we'll find out. So we get these. There we go. And then we get Sequence out. So let's see what do we have in the graveyard. We have 1, 2, 3. We have 3 lights. Actually, we have 4. So, but since Desiree isn't in the extra deck, we sadly cannot use him as material. So, what we can do instead is use him as material for Lacrima, the extra deck version of Lacrima. We're actually going to return the 2 extra deck monsters. Yeah, I think we can do that. Then we summon Lacrima here. There we go. Then once we summon Lacrima, there we go. This is actually the point where we actually have the option to summon the Link 3 so that any one of our 2 Light Fiends can hit harder, but I think we'll be fine with this. Although, yeah, once we bring that in, yeah, we won't be able to do too much, unfortunately. Wait, is it only a special summon once per turn? Really? Alright, cool. So we're just gonna go through our Yubel line now. That's as if my opponent was already dead enough, so we do that, and the Spirit of Yubel does their thing. We're gonna get that thing. Yes, we're gonna send it on the field. I still personally believe in 2 copies of Nightmare Pain. Some builds only have 1, some builds have 2. I prefer the 2. It's a just in case. Should one of the copies at the very least get banished, so it's really good for that specific circumstance. Special summon a fiend from hand or graveyard. Then I can destroy 1 card in control. So this is just an additional body that we can use. So we're gonna use Spirit of Yubel. My opponent hasn't been interacting with me anyway, so I think we're in the sort of clear. We're gonna get OG Yubel here. There we go. Then Yama. I believe we just summoned the other one. So there we go. A destroy card. I believe no, we don't need to. Maybe not. Actually, no. We're going to. So we destroy that, and that was the last thing to happen on the chain, which means Yubel will not miss the timing. There we go. So we do this, and then we do that, and then we're gonna summon out the 3rd Yubel creature. So we're gonna shuffle these 2 back into the deck. There we go. Then we're gonna do this. And we just move into combat. And I don't know how dead my opponent is, because this is 4,500. Then we're going to use Lacrima to crash into this. And then we're going to set up a board that he likely will not be able to break. So we're going to find out how big this damage is. I believe, yeah, I think it's more than enough. I didn't do the math, but we're going to find out. And we are 400 over. Yeah! Let's move on to the next game. To die earlier again, so we're gonna see how far I can combo off. This is a decent ass opening hand. Although if we start with Dark Beckoning Beast, that means we will not have any other lines available to us. So, as insurance, since we have the 2 of them in hand, and oh, we also have that in hand, huh? So we're gonna send away some Saladin's Nuts, and I didn't actually see you there, Terror Incarnate. So we're gonna have Hand Trap Insurance. Well, maybe except Infinite Impermanence, which my opponent could most definitely have if they're thinking about their move this hard. Or Effect Veiler, which is also a thing, which will also force the issue. My microphone is no longer borked, so I don't know how much of my how much of what I was saying there was cut out. So. As I was saying, we have our Hand Trap Insurance. If they have Effect Veiler, or Ash Blossom, or Maxi, or hell, even Drone Lockbird, they do have an Infinite Impermanence, but they didn't use it on Phantom of Yubel, so that means they have other hand traps in hand. So that could potentially mean that my opponent is a Blue Eyes player. but we're gonna find out how far they go here. So we're gonna use sequence because that's the beauty of the normal summon of the Yubel Fiendsmith deck. It can go pretty goddamn far. So we do that. Then yeah, that'll be fine. We're gonna do this. There we go. I think this will be fine actually. We'll just swing in for 24. Yeah, we can. Can we do that? Or actually, we can swing in for slightly higher. Because Necroquip, I believe, is 2k. Yeah, she's 2k, so I think we'll do that later. Oh, right, it's only main phase 1. Shit. Okay, fine, deck, fine. We're gonna get Necroquip. We're gonna end with this. So send and send. There we go. There we go, there's Necroquip. And then, we're gonna use Engraver. Oh, shit. We can get even further beyond. Hell yeah! So, because Lacrima was negated, we can send her back into the deck very safely. There we go. Then we have that. We don't have an extra normal anymore, unfortunately. So, we can actually just stop here. Because our graveyard is pretty dry, all things considered, unfortunately. So we're just going to end with Hiking Caesar. And hopefully be happy with this. We have 3 negates. It's decent, but not overly impressive, unfortunately. So there is that problem. But I believe, I mean, we can just work with what we're given here. So let's see what my opponent has. We do have 2 negates with Caesar here. Then a monster negate with Yubel and a search negate with Ash Blossom. And I just hope this will be enough. Yeah, definitely Lacrima getting negated there hurts a lot, but I don't want to have to use Phantom Yubel for Link Fodder if I don't have to. Again, I could have gone into sequence there, but I did not have the requisite materials in order to wombo combo off. Too hard. And if my opponent is thinking it's hard, they probably had a Maxi or Fualos raring to go in case I comboed off really hard. And they did indeed have a Fualos. And no, opponent, you will not bait me into doing anything yet. I will definitely... oh god, opponent's playing ice barriers, holy shit. Well, they're not playing ice barriers, they're just using the ice barriers to go into Synchro Soup combo deck, so... I know your game, Ice Barrier. You're just gonna go into... This is just a Synchro Soup pile, so there is that. And if they can see it like that, well, they probably brick to high heaven, so... my minimalist board already worked. Let's move on to the next game. You know, with a game like Hurry the Fuck Up, I'm beginning to think that my opponent is a stun player, but we're gonna find out soon enough if they indeed are. I could do that with Fualos, but I'm just going to use 1-for-1 to try and bait any form of negation that my opponent could potentially have. Fualos is going to be useless anyway once my combos get going, because I'll have stuff in the graveyard. And there we go, my opponent fell for the bait, and now I will use Engraver. But if they have a Called by the Grave style effect, or a, I don't know, Ghost Spell, I guess. If they have that, then I will be very sad. So we're gonna find out. I mean, they did already use the Ash Blossom. Okay, cool. Using Maxi there, I will counter her with my own version of Force of Will, which is a cute anime girl, and Ash Blossom Enjoys Spring, or as most people prefer to call it, Ash Blossom Enjoys Feet. So you get Engraver in there, we're gonna get Fiendsmith's Tract, and then we're gonna go through the entire Fiendsmith combo line, and then I'm actually not sure how far we can go here, so we're gonna find out soon enough. So we get Luri, and I'm gonna at least record the combo properly, if I can even get to it, but having Lacrima alone already makes a lot of this combo, like, worth it. Opponent, that is not where you use that. You made probably one of the rookie mistakes ever, so you were not supposed to use it there, unless you have another one, which is also a thing. So there you go. Requiem does their thing, and then we're gonna summon Lacrima out, unless you have another Imperm opponent, which is also a possibility, but unfortunately I will not be able to record the full combo here. Let's move on to the next game. Okay, so my previous opponent's name was Hurry the Fuck Up, and they were playing Numeron OTK. That explains a lot about their username. Okay, so before we proceed with even more duels for this video, we're going to be having a ban list update, which will be implemented on June the 1st. And, oh boy! This is one hell of a ban list. So it's going to limit the... Well, it's going to limit the best decks that are up top right now, which Snake Eyes is still fucking Snake Eyes. I just wish this entire archetype was all limited to one so that we won't have to deal with it anymore. Bonfire limited to one is also really goddamn good. Holy shit. Sinful Spoil, Snake Eye, this card will always be a problem because it's just summons one fire monster from the deck and you'll have access to your entire Snake Eyes combo line anyway, and it sends any face-up card, so it just enables way too much. I just wish this were banned, but I can definitely see why limiting it to one definitely reduces its power, but it just turns into a Sake one-off. I hate this card, but even though I used it, I can definitely see that the power of this card is just too much for this game. Good God. I won't be doing the usual ban list overview thing that I usually do because this is already like about a week old at this point. Yeah, it was posted on May 20 and it's the 26th, so it's nearly a week old. Most people are already aware of this by this point, and will likely already be making adjustments as I speak. Branded Fusion, going back to 2. Ash Blossom doesn't kill this card now because there will be a second copy coming in along the way. So there's that. But the big ones, the big hits, are Maiden of White and Sage with Eyes of Blue being limited to 2 apiece. They will only lose 2 pieces, so that means the deck won't be as repeatable. The 2 slots will likely go to, I don't know, Kaiser Seahorse, maybe. Just as a way to send stuff to the graveyard, but I don't think they're gonna need that many changes anyway. They're just gonna probably bump up the ratios. I mean, I'm not exactly a true Blue Eyes player. I'm just in it for the Blue Eyes Nation thing. I'm just gonna ask the players at the shop to see what changes I can make to the build that is already existing. Will probably be very easy since the deck pretty much plays itself, especially with the Primite engine and whatnot. So yeah, those are the heavy ones. One buff to branded Despia and whatever fusion soup deck that is going to exist now because of this slowly being peeled off, and then of course hitting the other stuff. But unbans, oh boy, we have Sprite at full fucking power. Nimble Beaver was limited to 1 for the sins that Sprite was committing during the peak of its power, and same thing with Jet and of course Blue. These 3 cards and made Sprite way too good, and well, I'm actually slightly scared that Sprite will be way too good even now, but the rank 2 pool, I'm not even sure can compete against the bullshit that the meta has right now. But one thing that people are really happy for is the unlimit, finally, of Nadir Servant. Dogmatica players are finally going to be rejoicing now that the card is back at full power. So yeah, that'll be the ban list update for June 1. It will be coming out a few days, actually, by the time this video goes up. And you should adjust your decks by then, especially if you're a Blue Eyes player like me. Now let's get into the next duel. And I didn't mention it in the, my, like, very short overview on the ban list update. Nothing from the Yubel or the Fiendsmith decks were, like, touched at all. Nothing was touched in those decks, so it's a pretty safe bet to play these decks at the moment because absolutely nothing is going to get hammered and or shot in the back of the barn. Oh boy, we'll be seeing more of this deck in the coming months until, of course, the deck build pack that contains the Malice and Ryziel come along, in which case things are going to be very fugly by then. So we're gonna try and do our whole Fiendsmith combo line here. Let's see if I can even do it. I already negated their Max C. So Luri, do your thing. There we go. So we do this. Luri, there we go. We get Requiem. There we go. Then we use Requiem. Actually, I could normal summon this, but I'm not going to just yet. So we will no longer have a search for Nightmare Pain, sadly. So there's that. So we get Lacrima here. There we go. Opponent has not been showing any interaction, so they probably have Nibiru in hand, which is very scary. There we go. And then, I'm assuming this is sequence. Alright, cool. Now we normal summon. We have not normal summoned this entire game. Well, not yet anyway. So now we go. Oh, right. I already went into that one. So we go straight into sequence. We won't have access to Agnus Dei just yet, because I didn't send him off of that. So we do this, then we do that. So we use sequence. Oh, this is where you use Infinite Impermanence or Effect Veiler, whichever. That is just as bad. Okay, then. Opponent is ready. Alright, cool. Yeah, getting rid of sequence is definitely one hell of a choke point. But unfortunately, opponent, what you forgot is that I can still use this. So, we got sequence here, which is a 6. We can go into plan B. Oh, wait, I don't have the plan B here. Shit. I have it in the other version of this deck. Okay. I guess we just use this. Fusion material would be... I don't know. I guess sequence... yeah, sequence and Luri. We're gonna send... Oops, sorry. I hit my microphone. Send those two back into the deck. There we go. Then we get Lacrima. Then we do this. Then we're gonna get... we're gonna get her. We're gonna special summon her because we don't exactly have anything else to do with her at the moment. So there we go. And then once that happens, Requiem. There we go. We're gonna equip it onto... Yeah, we're gonna equip it onto Lacrima. So we can do this. And then we're gonna use Necroquip. There we go. Send these two. We're gonna put her here. And then we're gonna use Nightmare Pain. We're gonna put it all the way to the end here. And then, because we already have the... yeah, there we go. We already have Grave Squirmer. What we can do instead is... we can use Muckracker, but we only have one card in hand, so that's unfortunate. I believe... Now that I think about it, probably should not have done that. Yeah, definitely no. So I guess we just end on Caesar here. We're just gonna leave that hanging out there. We have another copy in the deck anyway. Set it to defense position, because why not? Lightning Storm is not exactly a popular option here on Master Duel. I mean, not when you have Feather Duster and Raigeki available at 1 and 2 copies apiece. So why would you need something that is conditional? So there's that. Probably should have left Caesar in attack position, but opponent is playing a wombo combo deck. No, I will not do that just yet, but I can do this. So there's that. We're gonna max C. And do we activate this? What other links do we have in the graveyard? Just Requiem? Yeah, just Requiem. I think we can do that, just so that we have Agnus Dei in rotation. And we also have Caesar here, ready to go, ready to bat some of the summons that my opponent could potentially do. So, Maxi is active, so they're gonna search Takatamborg, which is literally the only thing that Terratop searches. I believe this is already like unlimited. Yeah, Terratop is unlimited, so... ooh! Okay then. That is spicy. So they're activating that, so we're gonna activate Requiem now. So that we just have Agnus Dei into a rotation. Yep, yeah, we have Agnus Dei in here. There we go. Or what I could have done instead is I use Lacrima's effect to send Agnus Dei. Yeah, I could have done that instead. Good God, there are lines with this deck that are not obvious to me. Like on first immediate blush. It's just something you learn over time as you play with this deck. Good God. But all routes lead to the same end board anyway, as I was gonna say. But the lines to get there vary depending on what you have in the graveyard or in your hand or whatever it is your opponent is doing. So We're gonna see, and they are under the effects of Maxi, so they selected Angel Trumpeter, which is a level 4 tuner. Hey, but no, we're gonna prevent you from going into a freaking level 7. We will send Desiree to the graveyard. We will activate Desiree, and then we will send back Requiem. There we go, and we will send. I think just sending the tuner is the way to go. Because if I cut off their tuner access, then that means they won't be able to synchro soup climb like they normally would. Okay, that is scary. I believe what we should negate instead is their Requiem, not Luri. Wait, hold up just a minute. Do they have the boy in the graveyard? No, they do not. Then that means this is a safe negate. So we're gonna detach that. We're gonna detach Lacrima, the extra deck version of Lacrima, so that Luri can just stay in the graveyard where he fucking belongs. So now we get our Lacrima and we return Desiree back into the deck. Good God, the resource loops of Fiendsmith is insane. That's why you don't run Pot of Avarice in this deck, because they all just recycle themselves pretty goddamn well. Like, why would you need it? And there we go. That was exactly what was needed to stop my opponent from comboing our faces off. But I definitely could have done better. I could have done better. I could have had more material had I, known that certain lines were existent to me. What 0 do I have in the yard? What the hell? What do I have? Oh, who can I revive? Ash Blossom? Really? Wait, hold up. 0 attack or defense. Oh, hand or graveyard. Wait. Oh, right, because I have Yubel, of course. Actually, I won't do that yet. I'm gonna see if I can even kill my opponent here. So when that happens, we're gonna get some out of these nuts. And then, so we're gonna activate Spirit of Yubel. Opponent, I'm not trying to BM you. I'm going to try to kill you here. Because Varudras is a thing. So we do that. Then we do this. Some out of these nuts. There we go. Then we summon the other spirit, and my opponent just conceded. Great. I was gonna go into Varudras because you didn't exactly have a monster with enough attack for me to kill you outright. So I'm gonna go into Varudras and try to kill you from their opponent. But I guess my opponent saw the writing on the wall, so I mean just as well. Let's move on to the next duel. Finally lost the die roll, so we're gonna see how far we go from here. This is a decent ass opening hand. Like, holy shit. We can safely discard Fualos. We're gonna summon some Sara these nuts, and then we're gonna see where we go from there. We have a Maxi, so this should scare my opponent just a smidge. Retaliating Sea. Oh boy, what does this do again? If summoned this way, while this card face up on the field, any card sent to the graveyard is banished instead. Well, you want a way to completely stop my lines, opponent? You got it. Oh my god. So I won't be able to do what I need to do because of fucking Retaliating Sea. So I am actually comfy with losing only one Samsara these nuts, because I have 2 others. So there is that. But I cannot afford to lose Lacrima here. Although there are ways to summon them out of the banishment. That's the official name that the banished pile is called now. But I will not be able to do anything else. We're just gonna do that. We're gonna get Spirit of Yubel here. We're gonna get Nightmare Pain. Okay, so we're here at my previous opponent's deck, and what kind of a fucking pile is this? It's a 41 card pile of... I think this is also a variation of Oops All Hand Traps. We have Shining Star Dragon, which is a main deck version of Zolkin. We have Gizmek Uka, because I believe what this does is if a monster is special summoned from the main deck, special summon from hand, yeah. Each time your opponent normal special summons, yeah, it's deal 300. Then Miradora, I believe. Let's see what this does. If an opponent special summons a monster with 2,000 more attack, special summon this card. Blah 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 blah. If this card is special summoned from the hand, target a special summoned monster. Neither player can activate those effects, so it's a negate. Okay. Ida Sword Soul, I already know what this does. This is also a negate. Then he also has the a very very minimalist Tenpai engine in here. Like, good God. But everything else is just hand traps. This is a really spicy deck. I have seen this floating around every once in a while, but I did not know that it can go this deep. I was gonna say low, but no. I think that's a little too insulting. But I did not know it can run this deep. This variation of, I guess this is Tenpai, but good God, there's barely any Tenpai in here. There are only like what, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. There are like 7 Tenpai cards in here. Then everything else is just synchro climbing to infinity. Good God. What has this deck come to? That's what limited Sangan Kaimen, Sangan Summoning, and Chandra does to a man. Oh, good God. Now let's really move on to the next duel. My opponent is rocking the Fiendsmith, mate, so that's how you know that he is serious. But my opening hand is pretty decent. All things considered, my opponent is the one who won the die roll. I thought I was the one who won the die roll, but we're gonna get Fuwalos down, and let's see if my opponent answers that. Good, because I have nothing else to do, opponent. So pop off, King. And with a name like that, oh, you'll definitely be doing a lot of that with Agnus Dei over there. You know what I'm saying? But Lacrima, I honestly think Lacrima is more. I mean, as much affection, at least in the fan art, as much affection as she shows to Agnus Dei over there. I think Agnes just treats her like an annoying little sister. At least that's the energy that I get out of Agnes towards Lacrima. But who's to say what their story really is? We don't have the guidebooks yet that specifically state what their relationship is, and the art can only do so much in telling us the story. So we'll probably get there sometime in the future, or just go to Golden Nova's channel, and he'll do the lore diving for us. He is my go-to for Yu-Gi-Oh lore, and not Yu-Gi-Oh lore as in Yu-Gi-Oh the anime. No, Yu-Gi-Oh the cards. And by the way, by the time that you're watching this video, there had already been 2 animation chronicles that has been released by Konami, and we're going through the Sky Striker story right now. So it's really really fun, and it just feels so proud to be a player of Yu-Gi-Oh, and to finally see the cards that you just play with come to life, and see this breath about them that is just it's just hard to explain. But my opponent ended on a this is actually a really decent board. They have, let's see what they got here. Yeah, I drew an Infinite Premise. Yes, thank you. They don't have Fiendsmith in Paradise, which I don't know why they didn't do that. But we're gonna negate their Caesar, because that will stop a lot of our shit. And then out of respect for Infinite Impermanence, we're gonna use Spirit Gates here. Let's see how my opponent responds. They do not. All right, cool. Dark Beckoning Beast has entered my hand. Now we're gonna try to activate his effect. He does have 1 unknown and 2 other cards on the field. Still nothing yet. Well, that's the scary part. Then we're gonna use Fiendsmith's Tract. We're gonna try to get something. Oh, this might be the one that will get my opponent. Okay, my opponent has interaction, but he's choosing to not use it here. So we're gonna find out soon enough what my opponent does. This Crossout Designator, right? Because my opponent's a Fiendsmith player, he can also negate Lurie. Good thing I didn't put out the Phantom of Yubel just yet. So there's that. So my Lurie is negated, but their Lurie is probably gone forever. I'm not quite sure of the specifics, but I think we'll be fine here. So we put these 2 away, and then just try to stall for a little while my opponent tries to figure out their life. They have interaction. I just don't know what it is yet. So I think we'll end it here. The combo, I mean. They can't exactly get through this really easily unless it's negation that is in the form of a spell trap or a hand trap. And it mustn't be effect failure because effect failure only works on the opponent's turn. It can't also be infinite impermanence because they have stuff on board. Okay, they're going into... I think that's their second Requiem. Like, holy shit. Okay, then. That is as good a negate as any, unfortunately. So, it will be replaced. I believe that is negatable by Caesar? Question mark? No, it's not. Alright, cool. We'll destroy Spirit of Yubel. I believe this is the one that's going to be negated by Wave Hiking Caesar. Yep, that's to be expected. Now it'll be bonked for 2800 damage. My opponent's graveyard is pretty loaded, all things considered. But I am not too scared yet. They have... Oh god, now I'm slightly scared because I keep forgetting that Lacrima has a burn effect. But if they're just going to go into combat and move straight into the second main phase from here, I believe we'll be in a safe spot. But I'm still scared of what these three unknowns are. What in the actual fuck? You are a sinful... You're a White Forest player? So this is White Forest and Fiendsmith. So the best deck of the format right now. And they fused away... Oh my fucking god. I think they just folded all of their interaction onto this card and hope that... Oh, I mean, it did draw them 2 cards, so... it's something. But we're down to 700. I don't know how much further my opponent's gonna go, but I think they probably still have something. We're gonna find out. No, they're gonna combo off. They discarded the Infinite Impermanence, which is a flex and a half. Yep, they get Sylvie, which will get them into the level 6 fusion monster. That's a fucking negate. So my odds of winning this one are very, very slim now. Oh, they're gonna go into the synchro instead of the fusion. Okay, sure. Let's see what else my opponent has. Yes, discarding that, but they have... White Forest has ways to recycle their spells and traps anyway. So I am not too... I don't think, rather, that my opponent will be too worried that they're discarding stuff. Okay, yep, LZ, yeah, the level 2, they're gonna go into level 8, and then I'm gonna be very sad, and then I'm gonna be horrified because of the pseudo-Eldritch monstrosities that came out of the White Forest that produced us the hottie that is, well, not really hottie. I think, if you're gonna put descriptors on them, Diabel is the hottie, and then Diabels is the baddie. There we go. Am I right? Am I hip with you kids? Am I still hip with you kids? Am I doing it right? Am I using the descriptors right? Am I still hip? You know? Am I doing the how do you do fellow kids thing bit well? We're gonna find out soon enough. But my opponent's still comboing off as I was doing that. I believe they're gonna... What, you have a level 12? Either a level 12 or a level 10. Okay, it's a level 10. I'm guessing it's Bar on the Floor because there's no other synchro monster that's going to do what Bar on the Floor does. So I definitely lost here. I'll just see you guys in the next duel. Something needs to be done about the White Forest engine. Good God. Excuse me. White Forest and Azamina in general. Something needs to be done about that engine. Because it can... every card in that deck does something. And it's insane as to how much that something is. And, good God, opponent is playing stun. Somebody's been having a bad day. Oh my God. I'm not sure how far I can go here. Simply because, you know, it's stun. I mean, what more can I do? I'm pretty sure they don't have infinite impermanence, so I can safely activate Spirit Gates here. I think I just need to negate Inspector Border, but I am not quite sure if I can even do what needs to be done for this duel in particular. So I'll literally just stall until I find a way to negate Inspector Border. But I am not confident about my odds playing against stun. So either we just move on to the next duel or somehow I win. But I highly doubt I will ever win. Very few people rarely win against stun. If at all. Or at least it's a 50-50. I don't know. I'm just spitballing here. Because stun is... As unfun as it is, it's at least a reality check that, hey, we exist too. Lost a die roll, so let's see what my opponent has from here. And, ooh, it's one of the new fields that is purchasable in the shop. This is the Earth's Arctic field. We don't have any hand traps, so my opponent could just very well combo off. And he's playing with the lesbian nuns, as most people would prefer to call them, but they're probably not lesbian at all. They just have that vibe about them. They got Mori Calliope of Hololive English. Great to see her here again. So summoning out Ellis, which is, I believe, according to certain, the flavor text of her portrait that is purchasable in the shop. Her senior is I call her Mori Calliope. No, it's Martha, not Mori. Oh my god. Because people keep describing Martha as Mori Calliope of Hololive English, and it pretty much stuck to me. I don't even call her Martha anymore. I call her Mori. Oh my god. But they're gonna combo off. Yeah, gonna get Returnia. And this deck, by the way, is one of the banes of my existence because they banish a lot. And I'm not too confident about my odds with this deck, but I will try. So there's that. We have a Nightmare Pain, so we have that going for us. I think we should just put up insurance against my opponent's monster effects because they have a lot of that in this deck. So we get that out of the way. Then we will normal summon Samsara these nuts, and we're gonna go from there. All right, using Returnia right away. So that is fine. Do I actually just use Grave Squirmer? We can use Grave Squirmer here. Let's see if this prompts a reaction out of my opponent. I believe it will. But if they do, that means I can still use Phantom of Yubel's effect. That is a way to do it. Alright, Pizza Hut, thank you for activating it. And now, Phantom of Yubel is safely out of the way. Unless, of course, they have an... Dad! Damn it! Ah, they had it. Okay. Definitely fell for that one. I was expecting this to be another one of their in-archetype spells and traps, but Called by the Grave is definitely one that I did not expect. See, I told you. Exorcister is the more bearable version of Kashtira, if you can believe that. No, I will not destroy a card. No, thank you. Now that Returnie no longer has a valid target, it'll just go to the graveyard. And there we go. Alright. We're gonna use some Sound of these nuts. And then we're gonna use its effect. There we go. We're gonna summon one from the deck. There we go. We're gonna activate the effect just so we have both Nightmare Pains out of the graveyard. There we go. Then we're gonna use its effect. There we go. We're just gonna get a lot of these guys and gals into rotation. There we go. I think we just get some out of these nuts. There we go. And then we activate that effect. I'm gonna see if I can kill my opponent this turn. If at all. There we go. And then use Fiendsmith's Tract. Yeah, we might combo off hard here, question mark. Because we have two bodies and we can link climb like there's no tomorrow. So we do that. There we go. Fabled Lurie. I think because Phantom of Yubel is negated, we can just use Phantom of Yubel as a link climbing tool. Ellis is activating her effect, moves a card, special summon a monster from the extra deck using that as Xyz material. Asophiel, I believe, is Xyz, can activate card effects in the graveyard. Okay, sure. That means some of our lines are turned off, but just some of them, not all of them. So, there we go. We get Requiem, and then we get Requiem. There we go. Then we summon out Lacrima. There we go. We won't have Agnus Dei into rotation because graveyard effects are locked out. So we're just going to send Fiendsmith in Paradise here. There we go. And then we're gonna fuse, or rather, we're gonna use, there we go. We're gonna use sequence. There we go. And then activate his effect. There we go. Aerial Eater is nice and all, but I don't think we'll need that at the moment. We're gonna put back Lacrima and Luri. And we're gonna put him in attack position. There we go. Activate Lacrima effect. We're gonna get Requiem. We're gonna put back Requiem. I did not know that was what's going to happen. Whoops. Next, we're gonna actually use this gal right here. There we go. Muckracker. Activate her effect. We're gonna target Yubel, OG Yubel. There we go. We're gonna discard the other Nightmare Pain. We just hope that we're gonna have access to that in the future. There we go. We can't use that as link fodder for this turn, but I believe this will be fine. So we do this. We're gonna use this. We're gonna hit into Michaelis. Either Michaelis or Pizza Hut, but I think Michaelis is fine. There we go. Then we use Yubel here to hit into this. It's not gonna die because it's just Yubel. There we go. And now, well, this can activate its effects this turn anyway, so I think we'll be fine. Oh wait, no, it can't act. We can't go into the Yama line because Grave Squirmer is turned off for the turn. So I believe this will be fine. Activate card effect. No, actually. Yubel, I want you to sacrifice yourself for now. No, we will not. Muckracker. Oh wait, no, we can't use that. We're gonna tribute off Muckracker. There we go. And now we have a nearly impenetrable wall. Most of their monsters are going to be reduced in attack value. So 600 attack is not nothing. So there is that. They're gonna need to find a way. I mean, it's very easy for Exorcisters. They have decent removal. They even have a bestial engine just to act as DD Crows for chicanery. But I'm not quite sure how far they can go. I mean, it's very easy for them to get material. They got more Calliope of Hololive English again. Sure. I'm assuming they can special summon it because they have an Xyz monster, an Exorcister Xyz monster at that. Sure, target a monster, return to hand. That is fine. We don't have any negations. They can indeed do that. But now they have to get rid of Nightmare Pain at least. Or at the very least, they can also get rid of Yubel if they have any bouncing effects or banishing effects. I am definitely not confident about my odds from this point because Exorcisters can... They can... I don't know if they can screw up. We're gonna see first. We're gonna send Desiree. Activate Desiree. Let's see how far we go here. Return sequence back into the deck. Get rid of Asophiel. There we go. Now they no longer have monsters on board. Triple Tactics Talent. Okay then. Draw 2 cards. Alright, cool. Let's see how far they go from here. We no longer have any interaction, so I'm just gonna turn that off and see how far my opponent pops off. I mean, they have to attack. If anything. If they can't get rid of Nightmare Pain, they lose. But if they get rid of Nightmare Pain, or if they get rid of Yubel without destroying it, they win. But otherwise, yeah, they're just gonna lose here. Okay, yep. Getting Martha. I don't know where that will get you, opponent. Synchro, Chaos Angel? Yes? Yeah, okay, they have a way. Alright, cool. We definitely lost this one. So, well, maybe not yet, but we're gonna be taking a shitload of damage here. I haven't lost yet, but my odds of winning are very, very low. So, I'll see you guys either at the end screen or at the point where I somehow crawl out of this. Okay, we're here at the end screen, and it still rocks. This deck is so fucking powerful. It can brick. I will say that much. It can brick, and the times that it does brick, it will be very, very painful. But otherwise, this build serves me very, very well. Drone Lockbird is no longer, at least it seems it's no longer necessary because of Blue Eyes keeping certain things in check, and it's also like the most popular deck right now on Master Duel, at least one of the most popular decks. But in terms of meta, White Forest variations of that are still running very rampant, especially in the higher ranks. But oh boy, this form is honestly really fun, and I actually have more fun playing this deck more than the Blue Eyes one because I don't know why, but I feel bored with Blue Eyes. I don't know why, but I guess because the lines are just extremely straightforward and they're all essentially the same anyway. But with Yubel and the Fiendsmith parts, the lines are varying, as you guys saw in this collection of duels. So I have way more fun with this deck, and of course, hot blonde woman, hot blonde devil woman. I mean, what more motivation do I need? So if you guys like what you saw, hit like, comment, subscribe, and share this among your friends. And until next time, toodles.